Hi, I'm Mark. This is On Your Marks Run. Today I'm down at Hastings seafront to do my 383rd park run. I hope you enjoy the video. Hi, welcome back to the channel. As I said in the intro, we're down at Hastings Park Run today. The weather's really good. It's light rain and a slight breeze, so it's perfect conditions. So we're just at the start line and the run director's doing his briefing before he gets us underway.
Okay, on 3, 2, 1, go! Find the benches, enjoy your run!
But that's it, we're off. The goal today is to run a quicker park run. It's been a couple of weeks since the Beachy Head Ultra Marathon. Fortunately for me, a couple of friends were running sub 22. One of my club mates was being paced. So we all decided to run together and go for that sub 22. So we started at the front today. We wanted to get a good start, hit our pace as early as possible. It's opened up quite nicely, plenty of room to run in. Looking at the metrics on the screen, I like to use miles for my running, so all the data on the screen is in miles. Looking at the top left, we have our distance. Currently that's 0.1 miles as we've just started running. The middle left, we've got our speed, which is currently 9 miles an hour. Then below that we have our pace, which is a live pace, so that can jump around a little bit, but currently that's 6:53. To get the sub 22 we would need to run 7:04, but to make sure of it we'll be aiming to go flat 7 minute or just under. Then looking at the right hand side of the screen we have our heart rate. This is currently at 153 beats per minute. That's quite lowish at the minute, but we have only just started running. I'm expecting that to gradually climb the further we get into the run. I'm expecting that to probably be between 160 and 170 depending on my effort levels. So it's great conditions today, just a slight breeze for this pan flat out and back course along Hastings Prom. It starts opposite Bo Peep pub on the Prom, and we head out east beyond the pier to the turn point and retrace the route back along the Upper Prom to the finish. During the summer months it drops onto the lower Prom during the first half. I think it's quite a nice course. I do enjoy this park run. It is a bit narrow this end, but it does get wider the further you go along. That's partly due to this cycle lane, so you do have to be a bit careful. So it's quite nice to run with our little pacer pack. It means I haven't got to worry too much about the pace. I can just relax and sit on the shoulder of our pacer. I've noticed there's quite a few runners around us that seem to be running at a similar pace too. We've got this guy in the blue top and another guy in the calf guards. Looking at our stats, we're over the half mile point. We're under the 7 minute mile in, about 6:55, so that's good. And looking at our heart rate, we're 158, so we're nowhere near our threshold yet, so we're doing well. Just a bit of feedback from our pacer. She's saying we're doing well, we're on pace, we don't need to go any faster. So we're just approaching a couple of ramps here. The ramp on the right goes down onto the lower Prom. That section normally part of the summer course, but we're on the winter course today, so we'll be veering off to the left and going up a ramp onto the Upper Prom. As I just try to ease on the inside of this guy with the yellow top and just go by him, and he's just shut the door there, so I think I had to stop a little bit, but I'm just going to go by him now. Don't think he saw me trying to get by on the inside. So in the background there you can see that big tall building is Marine Court. The design of that is supposed to look like the superstructure of a ship, so quite an interesting design. As we just go by this cafe it gets a little bit narrow again, but we've just caught this group ahead. And we've got the guy with calf guards again. So he's running a very similar pace to us. So I've got a feeling we might see him for most of the run. And just ahead there we've got those columns. They're lights. I think the idea of those are to look like, well, when you're on the beach and those in the evening and those lights are illuminated, I think they're supposed to look like waves against the marine court there, that superstructure of the ship. So it's quite an interesting idea. I've never actually seen them light up though. So we've just moved through to the front of this group now. We seem to be going at a decent pace. We'll have to see whether our pacer just wants to stay with this group or just move through. So we've got a nice clear road ahead. She has just moved forward. She might just push through this gap. Yeah, so it looks like we're just going to push through and get some clear road ahead of us so we can keep our pace and keep together. And we've still got the guy with the calf guards. He's still going at the same pace as us. And the guy with the blue top, he's just ahead. Yeah, so it does look like these two guys are going to stay with us. And you can see just ahead there we've got Hastings Pier. The turn point is probably about maybe 400 metres ahead of that, so we can almost see the halfway point now. And looking at our stats, you can see we're approaching that 1 mile mark. We're just over we've just dipped under the 7-minute pace again. That, like I said, that is a live pace, so that does jump about a bit. Our heart rate's 159, so we're starting to work a bit harder. And our 1 mile split has just popped up, and we're 6:59, so that's bang on pace. We've got a few seconds in the bank, so that's good. And just to the right there you can see the Lower Prom. There's not a huge difference in height and level compared to the Upper Prom. Yeah, that, as I say, that is part of the summer course. That will drop down further and go under what they call Bottle Alley before it comes up another ramp just before the pier. And we're just thanking the marshal there. We've just gone up a ramp, so we're just gaining a bit of height compared to the Lower Prom. And our pace is just saying that we're doing okay, we're keeping on pace, and we're just keeping up with this group ahead. The guy in the calf guards and the blue top, and we've got a bit of a plan. When we get to the halfway point, I think my club mate's definitely going to stay with the 22 pacer. A couple of us may see what we can do from the turn, or either that we might leave it until a mile out just to see how far we can get onto that 22 minute and try and push ourselves a bit. So our pacer friend is doing such a good job today. She's keeping the pace lovely and even. She's such a good runner. This is way slower than what she would normally run. She's probably 3 or 4 minutes quicker than this. I think she runs sort of about 18 minutes for a park run. So yeah, so it's really nice of her to help us out today. And the guy in the blue top there just on the right, he seems to have come back to our group. I don't think we've sped up. I think we've kept a nice even pace, but yeah, he seems to be sliding back. I think we're going by him, so I don't know if he's going to try and stay with us if he can. So we have gone by the guy in the blue top now, and we're just reeling in this guy in the white just ahead. Looks like we're going to go by him. Looking to the left there, I can just see the leader of the Parkrun going through. He's going well. And just beyond there I can see the second place, but he's a good 100 metres behind, so I don't think he's going to catch him. So we're at 1.42 miles now, so we're approaching the halfway point as the third guy goes by on the other side. And we're still on pace. We're just under that 7-minute miling, so that's good. And looking at my heart rate, we're 160, so we've just got into that sort of area that I'm starting to work harder. Now this is the time that I've got to decide whether I'm going to push on once we go round the cone, once we get to halfway, or whether I'm just going to stay with our pacer friend for maybe another half mile and push on for the last mile. Although I say that, they are just eking ahead. I'm actually struggling to keep with them at the minute. I don't know why that was. I don't know if they've just pushed on or whether I slowed down a bit. And she's just hanging back for me to get back on her heels. And my club mate was with me as well, so we're back on pace. But the other girl in our group, she's pushed on. She's decided to go for it from the halfway point. She's running well. So I'm thinking at this point I'm just gonna stay with our pacer friend for another half a mile and see how I feel. As this guy in the black top's just gone by, he's running well. So what I need to do is try to maybe not let too many people go by me now. As I say that though, the blue top who we went by earlier, he's obviously going for it now. He's just gone by me again, so he would be a good target to try and stay with him. He's running well. Also further up the seafront I can see the guy in the calf guards from earlier. He's in a yellow top. He's running really strongly. The guy in the blue top seems to be moving further ahead. So yeah, I do really need to try and keep these two in my sights if I can. They're good targets to help drag me along, a bit of an incentive to keep my pace going and get that sub 22. So just checking in on our metrics, looking at the pace, I'm just under the 7-minute miling or hovering thereabouts, and then across to the heart rate we're on 163, so starting to work a little bit harder. My club mate and pacer seem to be just stretching away a little bit. I've got to be a bit careful that they don't get away. I've got to make sure that I keep with them. The guy in the blue top doesn't seem to be getting too much further ahead. I can see just ahead the guy in the calf guards. He seems to be getting a bit closer, so maybe we are starting to push the pace a bit and making some inroads. So our pace has done a cracking job. She's kept a good rhythm, she's kept us pushing, and we have made inroads on this guy with the calf guards, and we've stayed up with the guy in the blue top. Just as our second mile split comes up, we've nailed a 7-minute mile there, so that's perfect pacing. She's done a great job, and I've got a decision to make now. I've got to decide whether I just stay with the pacer or whether to try and push on, just as we thank a marshal there. So my club mate is really having to dig in now for this last mile. He's working really hard. He's desperate to get that sub 22 PB. So it's now time for me to push on and see if I can follow these two ahead and let those two work together to get that PB. Just checking in on our pace, we're around that 6:50 minute miling, so that's good. We're under that 7 minutes, which is what we need to get our sub 22. And then looking at the heart rate, we're about 164 beats per minute, which is good. We're starting to increase that effort level. So skipping forward now, we're making our way up to the Marine Court, that building that we passed in the first half, and we've got a new runner who's just pulled up alongside in a black top. So we've now got 3 runners ahead. So I need to stay with these guys as long as I can, keep in contact. Hopefully I can conjure up a good strong finish at the end and maybe go by them. So we have almost formed a small group, but we're not quite on the heels of Blue Top and Calf Guard Man. We just need to try and reel them in a bit more and sit on the shoulders if we can. So just making our way past the Old Azure Cafe, not forgetting to thank the marshal. So just checking in on our pace, we're hovering around the 7-minute miling, which is good for a sub 22, but if we're looking to go a bit quicker than that, we need to increase that pace if we can. And then moving across to the heart rate, we're on 165, which is pretty good effort levels, but it's getting to that time that maybe we should try and empty the tanks and leave it all out there. Now I seem to be losing a bit of ground on blue top and calf guards, and black top seems to be moving ahead a bit as well. I need to dig in. So I'm just about managing to stay on the heels of black top. Our small group is starting to string out a little bit along the seafront. Can we stay in contact with blue top and calf guards? I'm starting to breathe a little bit heavier now. Looking at my pace, I'm consistently under the 7 now. Probably hovering around the 6:45, 6:50. So that's pretty good. My heart rate is now still around that 165 point. As I move on to the hills of blacktop, there's less than 600 metres to go. There's a gap opening up on the inside here, and I managed to push through, so that's good. Hopefully he doesn't come back at me. And now we're going to try and reel in blue top if we can. It looks like calf guards might be too far ahead. We've got probably 500 metres if that left, so just need to keep working, keep pushing. We're still 6:45 minute miling. Heart rate now 166, so we're starting to work a bit harder. So we've got about 400 metres to go now. Quite confident I've got a decent sprint. I think there's a bit left in the tank. I think I could get blue top. Calf guards is still quite a distance ahead. Not sure if I'll be able to get him. He's running strongly. Now are we reeling in blue top? He seems to be getting a bit closer. Yeah, I think we're gradually getting onto his heels now, and I need to keep pushing. We're still 6:45 minute miling, 168 heart rate. We're definitely pushing now, pushing harder. That's right on my threshold. And here we go, we can see the finish. I'm past blue top. Can I get calf guards? I'm definitely reeling him in as the 3 mile split pops up, 6:54, so that's a better mile. We're gradually getting on the heels of calf guards. I think we can get him. We're in the 5s. Yes, we're in the 5 minute miles now. 171 heart rate, so we're pushing, and we're past calf guards. Is he going to come back at us? We can't see him yet. We're 25 yards from the finish line. I think we got him, and we're well into the 5s, and I'm pleased with that. That's well under the 22. I'm happy with the time.
Okay.
Well, that was a good run. I really enjoyed that. That group of us at the end certainly did help my time. So according to my watch, my finishing time is 21:27. As we just start to walk past the finishing line, I can see my pacer friend and club mate just crossing the finishing line. He did get under the 22, so huge congratulations to him for that massive PB. So looking at the official results, this was my 383rd park run. I was 39th with a time of 21:24, which was a minute over my PB. Yeah, it was a good run. I enjoyed it. I just need to keep stringing a few of these together, putting in some good efforts and getting the times down again. But that's about it for this week. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.